different locations across the country. So as a touring as Louisville has what I consider a lot of local artists that have the talent that are kind of bubbling on the verge of independent or local artists, kind of bubbling to where they can get their sound out to different regions. So with you being someone that toured with the local artists to different regions, what's the blueprint, or what does an artist need to do if you're a local artist here and you're doing your thing in Louisville?
I mean,
what do you do to get into other markets?
I think the biggest things is reaching out, networking. I mean, you know, social media, use social media, and you can reach out to all these other locations, or DJs, or whatever the case may be. And that's one of the biggest things is networking. The music is important, is networking, building relationships.
Okay, but here's my question. Yola, and not to discredit Yola, right?
Right.
But Yola is a tremendous, in my opinion, is a tremendous artist. I think Yola has what it takes to go to the next level, right? But Yola's music is not popular within Louisville, Kentucky. Yola seems to have a larger buzz outside of Kentucky versus in Kentucky. So with an artist like that, how did he manage to get himself on tours where you're opening up? I seen him open up for some major. I seen him open up for Bone Thugs and Harmony. I seen him open up for Twista. I seen him open up for a lot of major acts. How does someone without local buzz become part of a tour that seems to be nationwide?
I mean, because once you put your music out or whatever, and you get that buzz, and you know other people outside of the community, outside of Louisville, might like your music. So if you getting a buzz somewhere else, you try to reach out to where your buzz is and start talking to the people who putting on shows, promoters, DJs, to see if you can get them spins in them cities where you're getting the buzz at.
All right, so give a little bit of game up. When you're getting on these tours, right? And you're a new artist, does that come with compensation if you're not an established artist?
I think so. I think everything comes with compensation.
I'm saying, does it come with a financial check?
It depends. It depends on how you market yourself. I mean, I'm not gonna say straight out the gate you're gonna make money as soon as you. But as you build up your catalog and you build up your music, I mean, it might venture off into where you can spend merchandise and stuff like that.
So it's not uncommon. Say I'm a local.
It's not uncommon for you to pay first.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's not uncommon.
So you might have to pay a promoter to get on one of these tours.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But then once you're on your tour, you're what? Establishing a fan base? And
establishing a fan base, building relationships. You're talking to promoters and hopefully building that network, building that relationship. So if they go somewhere else, you can be like, well, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Yola, he did good and such, can he get on this show?
Okay, so as far as your experience with Mr. Yola, what did you feel his buzz growing from show to show? Or what does an artist need to do? Say I'm in a new town. Say we're going to Boise, Idaho next week. No one's heard of Mr. Yola in Boise, Idaho, but they've heard of Twista, right? And he's opening for Twista. What does because typically if you're an opening artist, you're opening up early, sometimes before most of the fan base get there, right? So what do you need to do in each city to build your buzz or add to your Instagram followers or add fans? What do you need to do?
I mean, you need to promote yourself. I mean, biggest thing is promote yourself, and your music will speak for itself. You make good music, people gonna love good music regardless. But you got to promote yourself. You got to put out your social media handles. You got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to promote yourself. You can contact T to have her mortgage you know what I'm saying?
But I mean, does that translate to like on stage as well?
Yeah, it translates on stage. You always got to promote yourself. You are your own business. So, you know, advertise yourself. Come in with some shirts. Something that will make a person remember who you are.
On stage?
On stage.
So when Yola was on stage, what tactics did you use to try to build Yola's fan base?
I mean, what we try to do is have him, you know what I'm saying, have them say his name, repeat his name when he's on stage, you know, do crowd interaction. And it's also your stage presence. If you got good stage presence, people going to pay attention to what you're putting out. Like I said, the music speaks for itself also.
All right, here's my personal question, folks. Let me give you a standpoint from someone. I love concerts.
Right.
So I go to concerts a lot. So say you bring Mr. Yola to my city.
Right.
I've never heard of Mr. Yola, right?
Right.
And he opens up and he's on the mic doing his thing. I don't know his record, right? I don't know any of his records. When I see local artists sometimes that open up and I don't know their music, in every venue, the sound system is not great.
Right.
Right. So say if someone we know, like a I don't know, like a Jeezy performing, right?
Right.
The sound system doesn't have to be great because I know Jeezy's records and I can sing word for word. I can sing
because
song, right?
he's a known artist.
So do you think someone that's a local artist should do, I don't want to say lip syncing, but a cover? Like play the music in the background and then sing over the cover? Because when a new artist performs and it's totally live and I don't know the music and the sound system is not that great, I don't get the feel for the artist because I'm not hearing the full presentation.
I mean, I think you have to play some music to get the crowd engaged. Once you get the crowd engaged, that's when you hit them with whatever you rapping, whatever your music is. Like, don't necessarily start out with your own music because they really don't know who you are. But, you can start out with somebody who's already hot to get the crowd, dancing. I mean,
what do you mean, like rap their, like...
Not rap their music, or just play their music. Get your DJ. If you got a DJ, get the DJ to warm up the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Play some hot music. Then, you can interface your music into whatever's playing.
Okay. So did he do, like, covers of his own music, or he just totally went live with his music?
He did covers. He got a couple of cover songs, where the mixtape songs where he used other people's music.
So look, your experience on the road, yay, nay, would you do it again?
Yeah, I'll do it again. I mean, I think I think being on the road, I think that's part of the job. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where you're making money when you do your tours. Mm-hmm. So I think, and plus it gives him the opportunity to get out here and learn the stage presence, learn what works and what don't work.
All right, so local artists, if you're out here listening, my man Sean Mucker actually has tour experience. Was road manager, correct?
Yeah,
road manager.
Still is.
Still road manager for recording artist, Mr. Yola, right? Yeah. And the reason I say that, why I stress it's important, is because I listen to a lot of local music as well. Man, there's some dudes here, man, that have...
Man, there's some dudes here that can bobble. I mean...
Right, but haven't actually taken their craft outside of what I say their neighborhood.
But I think one of the biggest misconceptions about it, Louisville got the artists, Louisville got the talent. We just need to network with each other. And once we start working together, you know what I'm saying, we can build Louisville up instead of going to other regions and building these other regions up.
Well, see, look, I think the most important thing as well, and I credit this to Wilson over here, is that I think a lot of people, like when it comes to radio, like say the station, right? It's one thing to know the music. It's one thing to know the culture, but it's something totally different to know the business. So say, while I brought you up is that, like you just said, there's plenty of guys here that make great music, right? But haven't gotten themselves on tours, that haven't gotten their music into different demographics, haven't got their music in different regions.
See, but that's part of networking. If I know such and such over here has another blueprint, and I know somebody over here got something else, and I know somebody over here got something else, why not we all collaborate together? And you know what I'm saying, we do next artist up. One artist go, the next artist up, the next artist up, the next artist up. Instead of being cliquish, some dude over here, some dude over here, and people don't totally get everything. But if we all work together, then they can get everything.
So what do you think is the most important factor? That you got to spend money to make money?
I mean, the most important factor is networking. But
is networking free?
Ain't nothing free. I mean, it's nothing free.
So is that a challenge? What I'm saying is that why some of these local artists are not growing outside of their region, because they haven't invested in themselves to get to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, your own business. So if you got to put your money behind you, you can't look for somebody to put you on. You got to put yourself on. You got to go out there and get that.
Okay.
I mean, but like I said, but if somebody got, it's like if somebody got the keys right here, somebody knows something more than I know. Instead of, I'm not going to deal with him, I'm not going to work with him. Let's work together. Let's collaborate.
All right, let's go to radio. Now, fortunately for the listeners here, is that you have a platform now with Power 106.3 that you actually are able to get your local music played, right?
Right.
But for some of the bigger stations, like some of the conglomerate companies like Radio One, or maybe your it's not Clear Channel anymore, your iHeart Media, there was a format, right? And I remember when you were on the road with Yola, and you were trying to get spins in other cities, right?
Right.
Some of the format was what? Maybe put your music on Spotify, a certain digital platforms, and you have to reach a certain number of streams?
Yes.
So what is that process like?
Well, you get money. You got to spend some money to get on these playlists. You know what I'm saying? So once you get on these playlists, you're looking to get on the bigger playlist, the bigger playlist, the bigger playlist. Once you get on the bigger playlist, that means you can have a bigger audience to hear your music. And hopefully, it catch on. If it catch a buzz, then, you build on that buzz that you catch. If you in, say, North Carolina, you getting 150 spins. You contact them DJs, reach out to the DJs, reach out to promoters, see what shows coming up. See if you can get on some shows in this city.
Now, look, I'm glad you brought up playlist, right?
Right.
Because I was watching an interview with, I think it was Leo Cohen. And I was watching, he used to run Def Jam. Now he's running YouTube. So I was watching an interview with him, and I wasn't aware of these playlists, right? So now on Tidal, on Spotify, what's the other one? Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music are the big ones, right? So they have playlists, and the playlists are like when you log on to the platform, you may see hot new music or most popular music or hip hop, R&B, or whatever. So now managers, media companies, and record companies are, I guess, paying to get those artists on certain playlists because these are what are recommended in your news feed.
Right.
So when you pop up on these platforms, you may randomly play. Okay, to put an example, you remember when they were trying to take R. Kelly off a playlist?
Right.
Because of his charges or whatever? When I read the article, it said that, say his music, this is just an arbitrary number, say his music was getting 1 million streams a month, right? When it was on one of these playlists, it was getting like 23 million streams a month just by being in that particular playlist. So with your artists, was it possible to get your artists on particular playlists?
We're always working. I mean, that's where that social media come in. That's building your social media. You got to work at social media because, record companies, once they get behind you, they spend millions and millions of dollars behind you. But what they want is that an artist to create his own buzz. They not gonna bring nobody in who ain't got no buzz.
So they don't want to do the A&R thing too much anymore. They want you to come with your fans.
But you would want to because if you got your own fan base and stuff like that, I think you control how you deal with these record labels. You control what type of contract you sign. Yeah. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Because it's either you can get the machine behind you, or you are the machine. It's a lot of people, a lot of artists, they stay independent because of the money. They probably make more money being independent than they going to get behind having that machine behind them.
Look, I'll give you an example. And this is just checking out music, right?
Right.
And this is checking out music. You remember the girl that did Catch Me Outside? The girl. Hold on, no. This is. I don't like her music. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah.
You remember the girl that was on
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Right.
She blew up from Dr. Phil, right?
Right.
So she became this huge social media star from her interaction on Dr. Phil from Catch Me Outside, right?
Right.
What's the label? What's the label Cardi B's on now? What's the label Cardi B's on now? Do you remember? It's. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, this label, I was watching the label.
You talking about Quality Control?
No, not Quality Control. I'm talking about the parent company. But I was watching the label, right? And this particular label, for a while, had, I don't want to say a gimmick, but their thing was cashing in on social media popularity. So what they did was they took Catch Me Outside Girl, they took Cardi B, they took a couple other ones, right? That had, Catch Me Outside Girl had no hip-hop background whatsoever. She was just on the show, right?
But she still had a million viewers.
What they did was she had 7 or 10 million Instagram followers.
Right.
So their thing was bring her into the company, get her a ghostwriter, get her a hot producer, teach her how to spit some bars, and now they're trying to cash in to your 7 million followers. So if they get 1 million of those 7 million followers to purchase your music, whether it's trash or not,
they still made some money.
Right. So that what I'm saying is the importance of building your own brand.
You got to. I mean, you always got to build your brand. You know what I'm saying?
Building
Instead
your
of building
brand
somebody else's brand.
Because what you're doing now is you're selling your social media. You're selling your social media followers. What used to be like an email list. I would sell my email list to certain people, but now
it's Atlantic and
Atlantic, right?
And Quality Control.
Atlantic